people selling tickets to the stadium, right? Especially the 1000s, which are basically have to play them, right? So the 1000s have are in a good position because everyone has to play them to get points. If this tournament wasn't worth 1,000 points and we had these problems, most players would be like, well, I ain't going there next year. But you have to play. So the tournaments don't have the players' interest at heart. Firstly, they should, but they do. But they don't have. That's not the thing they're focusing on. They want to get people in the door, and that's why they squish the schedule and put 700 matches on in a court. Now, the other problem with Paris is that they're also restricted to a week. So 1 week of a tournament, 1 week event. So that's out of their hands. Paris doesn't decide whether or not they're 7 days or 8 days or 10 days. That's the ATP's decision to say, hey, Paris, you get 1 week. So the ATP are kind of the guys that I guess can get the schedule to be a little more forgiving for Paris to then maybe get an extra day. So let's say they start on a Sunday and they end on a Sunday. That gives them an extra day maybe, We would avoid these issues. Now, Paris also only has 3 courts. So unless you build more courts, which is not easy, I guess, especially on an indoor surface where the stadium is one big stadium and there's little under the ground stadiums around the court. You can't really build another stadium underneath the current one. It's a bit weird. So it's just a shit show. But hopefully this does at least start a conversation of like, hey, this is a problem and it's been a problem all week and now it results in Sinner having to withdraw. You've lost one of your best players in the event because of this problem. So hopefully it starts a conversation and we do get a solution. So next year when we get back to this, because what happens in tennis, unfortunately, is that by the end of the day, we're going to forget about this and we're going to watch the quarterfinals tomorrow because tennis is very quick. If tennis was a week apart with every big match, then we'd have a week to talk about it. Sinner's withdrawal will be old news in the morning because we're going to watch this quarterfinals, maybe a Djokovic-Rune rematch, which will totally take over nobody will care about Sinner anymore. That's just how tennis works. It's very quick. So I just hope we don't forget about what just happened this week, so that next year, we can actually fix it. US Open also had the same problem with 2 matches. Yeah, I mean, Wimbledon had problems with late matches finishing and then having the curfew come into effect. That was a whole thing. I mean, rain delays have been a problem all year. It's been a lot of problems this year. Scheduling.
Fascinating. All right, 242. Yeah. Villanera. Would it be a wise move to put my Logic investment into Finger now? The honest answer is I don't know. No one will return my calls. But the best I can figure is the record date has already occurred, even though they didn't announce it. I think that's against the rules to not announce a record date. But what I understand is it was up to Aubrey Spack, not up to Logic, which makes no logic to me. The two data points that I have on that the ex-dividend date has happened for Logic, one on E-Trade, it shows that the ex-dividend date was 10/31. I don't know what they're referring to. It doesn't point it out. I've been told by the same gentleman who does not believe that any of the numbers which Ham projects as being accurate, he told me that the record date for Logic was October 24th, so it's already passed. He further said that you can find it in the documents. I find it nowhere. Yesterday with you, I read through every single document with you. It's not there. It is my opinion, it is the responsibility of Logic, Brent's son, and his board to announce the record date. They never announced the record date. I think they're derelict in their duty. However, another way of interpreting it is there hasn't been a record date announced yet. So there's basically three choices. This guy that's always wrong about everything is saying that the record date was October 24th. Another source of information, E-Trade, is saying the record date is the 31st. The ex-dividend date is the 31st, which has already gone by. And the third piece of information, the stock is trading down, so it looks like it's trading ex-dividend. But Deacon Blues, I cannot take the responsibility of telling you to sell the stock and put it in finger, because I simply do not know when the record date is. It's a big secret. And I'll go further. If they're allocating shares and they're distributing shares to their friends so their friends can sell before the rest of us, that's not right. Now, I don't think that's happening. But there's a rule at NASDAQ, rule at the SEC, that's full disclosure, Rule FD. They haven't disclosed it. So you can jump the gun or be correct. I just don't know. I understand CAUD will be trading tomorrow. So you should be able to trade a third of your position tomorrow. And maybe that's when we'll get an announcement that actually fulfills Logic's responsibility to announce a record date. But until then, I'm apologize, Deacon Boo. I cannot give in good conscience give you blessing to sell that you'll get COUD. It looks like the record date already happened last week. And it looks like Logic will be is already selling without the dividend of Data Logic. So that's number one. Number two, I looked at OTC markets, and I can do it again right now and give you the exact number. But I was warned by one of you all that Brent dilutes companies. And I don't think he meant to here. I think this was actually the SEC's fault. The SEC took forever to approve this. So the gentleman on the board, Peter Bordes, had a couple of his friends come along and screw the company. I'm trying to see how many shares there are out. Yeah, so Peter Bordes brought in friends, and they increased the outstanding shares to 147 million shares, so they could lend $5 million with zero risk, and then take probably 15 to 25 million out of the market, because they're friends of the company. Wall Street is littered with greedy, self-important thieves. Anyway, the outstanding shares now, Deacon, are 147 million, not the 105 million that I was originally told. And the gentleman whose data is always wrong told me, in fact, that it's always right in his mind, and I've never seen it be right. But he said they were going to reduce the number of shares outstanding. In fact, they increased it to 147 million. If you do that arithmetic, Deacon Blues, the CAUD at the price agreed, $10 a share, makes your ownership worth 76 cents a share, 76 cents a share. Massively diluted from the $1.15, $1.20 that was originally the case. This is the damage done by every level of participant in the over-the-counter market who finances companies, while Gary Gensler looks the other way. All they have to do is sell. Oh, you need money? Start selling the stock. Start selling the stock. Oh, how many shares do you start selling the stock? Oh, let's see if we'll put those documents together. Yes, sir. We're glad to be a part. Keep selling the stock. Well, oh, you just put out a press release that you've got a huge contract from Germany. Wow. Quickly sell the stock when it goes up. Keep selling the stock. Oh, wow. You're going to meet your numbers and you've got research reports. Sell the stock. Sir, we can't sell anymore. There's no stock left to keep selling it. Sell stock that doesn't exist. Keep selling. Sell stock. Just sell stock. Get the price down. And when the price comes down, the deals fall apart. And then as the number of shares go from 105 million, which was up, to 100 and almost 50 million, because a friend of the CEO of the board member, Peter Bordes, a friend, we're going to help you out. We're going to lend you 5 million, and we'll just take, thank you very much, we'll take 25 million out of the market cap of the company. Thank you very much. But we're friends, remember. With friends like those, who needs enemies? Who needs Peter Bordes? Anyway, that's how I feel about this destruction. I don't know Peter Bordes. He's probably a great guy. This is how I feel about the absolute destruction, dilution of logic. One, because the SEC delayed, so they're in cahoots with the shorts. And two, the only financing you can get if you're an over-the-counter company is spread your legs and let me, tonight's the night. So anyway, Deacon, it's 76 cents is what I think CAUD is worth to you now at the $10 level. Now, the good news is ASPA last trade was $27. So that's 2.7 times more than 76 cents. So it could start trading, CAUD could start trading at $2 a share to our interests. So that's the positive. That is the very strong positive. And in fact, when I looked at it, I wouldn't be surprised if, at least briefly, you have a chance to sell your CAUD higher than that $2. Now, what would that be worth? I don't know how many shares you have. Basically, another penalty for doing business with Peter Bordis's friends is that the ratio is 1 for 12 instead of 1 for 9.25. But remember, Peter Bordis is a board member. He gets paid by Logic, and he's on your side. So anyway, Peter Bordis effected a deal, got a deal through with two of his buddies, which now the ratio is 1 for 12 instead of 1 for 9. So I guess I would divide that 2 by 12, or would I multiply it by 12? I guess times 12, I guess. I don't know how to do the arithmetic. But I think the stock could be trading much higher. So that's a positive. In terms of selling Logic, Deacon Blues, I think Logic's going to go to 5 cents. They have a deal pending, a reverse merger. I do not, it's already November, so I don't think it'll be completed by the end of the year. So that'll give plenty of time for the shorts to sell the stock. And of course, in the case of Logix, there are no illegal shorts. It's all legal. They can locate shares. But I think Logix stock price is going to go a lot lower after the CAUD is split. Now, that's going to be because of tax loss selling. Tax loss selling. Tax loss selling. What will offset it, Deacon Blues? And I haven't sold my Logic yet, which I added to last week, is they are going to announce this reverse merger. They have to announce the record date, which they've been suspiciously mum on. And when you get those two data points, when is the record date? What is there a reverse merger? And you learn what it is, the stock actually might go up. The stock actually might go up. Because my guess is the reverse merger candidate is going to be worth 60 cents to you, 60 cents a share. So then the shorts are going to have to say, well, can we drive it down to 5 cents and then buy it back? Or should we just start covering? Because we have to deliver that value to the shareholders. So it's a reverse merger. Now, let me think through. Do they have to deliver? They're selling the stock. The stock suddenly becomes worth 60 cents. Yeah, it becomes on them. It becomes on them. So, Deacon Blues, even though I think the shorts are going to have a lot of fun with Logic, because they're going to say, oh, the reverse merger isn't going to happen until January. Let's sell off. On the opposite side of that, the opposite argument is going to be, hey, we just reversed mergered into, I'm making this number up, a $750 million company, private company, $750 million. And we all get to keep 15% of it. And that's where our 60, 70 cents comes from. Well, if it's a valid, vibrant, booming company, the shorts aren't going to have much say, and there could be a little short squeeze. So that's going to be the yin and the yang. Right now, if I had to pick it, Logic stock's going down. until January. But if they announce a reverse merger soon, which I wouldn't sell my stock yet. I wouldn't sell my stock yet. Because if they ever get off their ass and do anything and announce something and tell you when the record date is, you can make a decision. But till then, they're just shuffling the chess pieces quietly up in the room amongst themselves. Brent's son has to announce the record date. And he has to make an announcement of some kind. And I'm sorry, Brent, if the job's too hard for you. I think you're a great CEO, but you've got to announce it. You got to announce something. So anyway, Deacon Blues, what I would do is be prepared for Logic to go down, but simultaneously, like a cat on a hot tin roof, I'd be prepared for Logic to go back to 25, 30, 40, 50 cents if the reverse merger announcement is exceptional, which I expect it to be. But I don't expect any finalized deal. So time gives the shorts the opportunity to sell stock that doesn't exist. But the gentleman who doesn't believe that happens is an owner of Logic. We'll find out who's right. I hope he's right. I hope in Logic it's only real shorts and not illegal shorting, counterfeiting. I hope he doesn't get a lesson. I hope I get the lesson and I'm wrong. But anyway, Deacon Blues, I personally wouldn't sell Logic yet because I have no idea if the record date has happened. My opinion is NASDAQ's going to require the dilatory guys at, here, I got to call in.
All right, William, you there?
I'm here.
Hold on, let me merge my people. Hold on. All right, everybody. Thursday afternoon, 3 o'clock. Again, this is not to buy or sell. This is our opinions on security fraud, and we just try to.
Battery 100%. Connected to Bill's iPhone.
Okay.
You can remember, just, when you get a chance, remind her. I can't seem to read it. All right, I don't know what it's about, but let's move on from that. All right, I went to lunch. It was bought 5. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You okay?
Yeah, it's here.
All right.
The speaker went out, but it's okay.
Okay. All right. So I just went for lunch with a gentleman. He bought 500,000 GTI. He's been here for a while. Had lunch. He bought 50,000 more today, and I sold him on 20,000 finger. He bought that too. That's why he asked me an update on that, and he bought 20,000 of that. So the story is still strong. When you show data and the proof of the trading and everything, people believe it and understand it. This isn't a make-believe story. We sit down. This is a relationship that I had with somebody for a long time. And we this is just something that when you sit down people face to face, they understand it and they know how to play. They know what to do. All right. I didn't twist his arm. I didn't beg him to buy. He did it himself. He just wanted to hear the story. He pulled out his phone. He did it right in front of me, and he just bought both of them. So again, I don't know what prices he paid. I didn't ask, and that was that. So either I'm very good at selling this story, or the information is right on the nose. All right. So again, I believe the information is great, and I think that this is the type of guy that'll tell his friends and educate people about what's going on here. All right. Just to touch base, William, from yesterday again, the money manager committed suicide. He just lost $100 million, and he decided to go kill himself. All right. Let me tell you something, people. The hardest thing in the world to do is go kill yourself. All right. It's not easy to do. I've heard people talk about it a lot. And, I only know one person who did it, but it's not easy thing to do. All right. So this guy, I know he committed suicide. What did he get shot in the head 10 times? I'm not sure what it is. No one wants to investigate it. But I'm sure when you lose $100 million, it wasn't a long position. A long position that is underfunded will get margin calls every 3 minutes, and they will be on top of it. This was a naked short. I don't know in what stock he was doing, but something went up big and it just blew him out of the water, and there was no one answering the phone, so they all bought him in. That's the only way you could lose $100 million that fast. And that just shows you how fast it happens. All right? His position was probably going against him. He didn't know what to do. His funders or somebody was pissed off at him, and they took it upon themselves to do what they had to do. And his positions got wiped out, and he lost $100 million. And all of a sudden, he's dead. All right. Fund managers are not like they're not gangsters. They're not the Hell's Angels. They're not they're not thugs. I'm sure this guy was very well educated, and to be running any kind of money like that, this guy had some sort of pedigree somewhere along the line, and those people just don't do it. You had something to say, William?
Nope, you're doing great.
Okay. Okay, so I just let you know that in GTII, and again, I didn't know it was going to pop today, but the short sellers are calling around trying to buy people's stock shares in GTI and Finger. Again, 2 people got the call today that have positions. They're calling around, and they're calling from New York City. So maybe it's someone who is attached to the shorts. I don't know who it is. It's a broker looking for stock. I told you that they keep calling, and they're calling select people with big positions. All right. So again, if you have 10,000 shares, I don't think you're going to get the call. You got 2 million, you get a call. So again, they did that this morning. The stock took off a little bit, and that's what you're seeing today is that people could start seeing that, hey, these guys are trying to buy stock down here. After destroying it, they're trying to sit here and try to buy it at the bottom, and the stock took off because investors know that this game is not over yet. All right? This game is just in the GTI game, believe it or not, is like in the second inning. Finger motions. I think we're in the 9th inning here. We're getting close to really getting this thing to explode. All right. The company's doing every day that we go sideways, these guys get eaten alive. I told you, if you just make the number 5 cents a day, 25 a week, it's $1 a month, and all the other fees that they're paying, like nothing's free on Wall Street. So I'll just leave it at $1. It should be higher. But $1 a month, the most they can make is 5, then 4, then 3. And they just can't stay with it because they can't make any money. All right. They wanted the company at 0. If you read Susan Trimbat's post on Twitter, I told everyone yesterday, she wrote about it, what they do. Pedro from Philly put out a great post that I missed all these years from Pat Byrne. He talked about naked short selling, and he put it in a different way so you can understand it, baby formula. That's a great story also. So this thing is coming to a head only because the social network and everybody here speaking, posting about it, keeping up on it, and that's how you're going to win. All right? I've been doing this a long time, and we started out with the Raging Bull. There were 10 longs and 1,000 criminals posting there. So when the bashers come on and try to bash the stock or me or William, you get the wrong guy. We've been doing this for so long, I could care less what they say. There are children doing this stuff. They all say the same stuff. Just be careful of longs, people pretending to be a long and befriend you as a long to get you to turn against what you're seeing. That's the most dangerous. The bashers are easy to spot. You got to remember that there's some bashers that try to infiltrate the long side, and they turn the longs against everything they're seeing. Everything that we say and post is backed by something. It's not a guess. All right. So if you have a question about it, always ask. Just be careful of that, because the shareholder told me they've been getting approached by someone I think it was on StockTwits, I think it was. And they've been trying to get them to sell their stock. And they were concerned, like, what the hell does this guy keep pushing me to sell my stock for? And I explained to them that's what happens a lot. These guys change the tune and they try to go after the company in a different approach to get the shareholders to sell their position and move on. All right. Make your own decisions, buying and selling. Just be aware there are criminals all over this thing trying to get people to sell, because they are going to lose not 100 million. They're going to lose billions of dollars on the short squeeze, and it's going to drag down prime brokers. It's going to drag down brokers, you name it. It's going to be a total shit show. All right, so that's why. And if you were the short, you'd be doing the same thing. Or I'd be doing the same thing too. Sell the stock, move on. I got a better stock for you. Use all the lines possible to get people to bail out. All right, that's what they try to do. William, you have any questions? Because I'm just went blank for a second.
People are asking if my dog is okay.
Is your dog okay?
Yeah, he's fine.
All right. Got that out of the way. Well, let me just talk about GTI for a second.
There are no real questions regarding what you said that I see.
Okay, let me just go on GTI for 1 second, William. I was kind of hoping that finger motion would explode already, and that we could step in and pick off the shorts in GTII below $1 in size. But as you can see, they don't want this stock to go up because they already sold 1 million shares today. For stock that has no volume, someone's laid into this thing for 1.2 million. All right, it's averaging 300,000 a day, 350, whatever it is, very, very small amounts. And all of a sudden, they're selling it like crazy. Remember, one person said, "Is this a long selling?" Well, William, how many times can you sell your position?
Let's check the Nobo list.
Well, no, let's go back to this. How many times can you sell if you have 100,000 shares? How many times can you sell it as a real investor?
I can just once. All I can do is once.
Just once. There you go. That's the answer. You can only sell it one time. So we know it's not a long seller. So this is someone trying to hold it down to get people to bail on it. So this is what I spoke about the other day with GTII. This could be, finger motion is going to be deadly. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
GTII becomes 3 times more deadly if these idiots keep selling it, trying to hold it down. They could sell almost 1 million a day, 2 million shares a day below $1. This thing will become the all-time leader if they keep piling into it at low prices. I told you, when they sell it low, they get less money and have to sell more shares.
Right.
So if the money flows from finger motion into GTII, all right, which it looks like it's getting close to happening, we can pick off 50 million shares down here, but below $1, $1.50, you're talking about, that's devastation. But everyone can actually see them selling the stock into it. All right. You can see the manipulation. They're trying to hold it down. Get it down. Hurry up. It's 60. The shorts are here now. It's 61.30 bid and 63.90 offer. And it's trading at 62.05. Every number I just read to you is created by the shorts. Every one of those numbers. All right. So they're here. And their game is to try to hold it down. And that's what they're trying to do. But this is the most deadly game when they do that. All right. So keep an eye on it. It's in the zone to become super deadly. Finger motion is deadly. This could become super deadly because it's a stock below $1. And if these idiots keep trying to hold it down, all right, I told you before, people want to buy it, let them pay $1.50 for it. No, let's hold it, sell it at 65 cents, all we can. Get every sell ticket we can, get out there. Again, they're just holding it down because they cannot afford them to go up. So this is a game that when the reinforcements come from finger motion into GTII, if they continue to fight, it would be the battle and the victory would be enormous in that stock based on what I'm just telling you now. So that volume is super important, and you can see it. In finger motion, you see the same patterns. Hurry up, sell it down, don't ever let it go up. It was just 63 to 65. Someone moved their 200 shares down to 64. Anything to try to keep the spread close, trying to make people think that there's a seller, you name it, it's the same pattern all the time. That's all they're doing. It's the same stupid patterns every day. All right, did you have a question, William?
Can Ham's contact at Univest get Ham a meeting to share his knowledge on Lind?
That's a good question. I really didn't ask him about Univest. He started talking about Lynn, and he sat down with Jeff Easton. He said he was in his office. He went to his other office and was drinking with him. And he said, absolutely, this guy's a dirtbag. That's what he told me. He's 100% orchestrating this whole thing. That's what this guy said. I never knew anybody who met him, and that was the guy who said he was with him. So that's what I got. I didn't really go any further than that. That was good enough for me because I said 100%. That's what I see, and that's what I hear on the street. That's what he does, and so he will become the star. I'm working on a slide presentation so everybody understands. And I have a good crowd on my side. I don't know how many people are on your side, William. How many people you got on your side?
It's closer to 700.
I have about 600 people on my side. I don't know.
It was 657. Now it says 650.
Okay.
Now it says 651.
Who the hell dropped off? Get back
Somebody
on that
dropped
phone.
off.
I'm only kidding.
6 people dropped off.
It's over 1,000 people in the middle of the day.
649. So some people came back on.
Oh, they're dropping off, you sissies. Get back in there. And I'm only kidding. So again, what the hell was I talking about? Oh, anyway, so with the gentleman he actually knew Jeff Easton, sat down, had drinks with him. 100%. He said this guy is a scam artist. That was his exact terms, and he's orchestrating this thing. That's who he feels doing it. So that was that. And I told what's it calling around, trying to buy GTI and Finger again. If I can get the woman's name out of New York City, I will get it out and put it on Twitter for you. So I'm trying to get that name, her contact information, so everybody knows who it is that's calling.
Right.
Finger motion, I can see, is basically in a coma today, not doing anything. All the selling, hurry up, mark it down. It's come to a standstill now. All right. Again, they sell it lower. They just keep making the hole deeper. That's it. All right. Options aren't for 2 more weeks. And no one really cares about them unless you have them. But again, the stock is sitting here. Again, the story doesn't change. The story gets stronger. We told you yesterday. I'm trying to get the gentleman that spoke to the IR guy. He said the company's cash flow positive from 2 days ago. So the company's in the black, making money. All right. So what's the race to sell it down? I don't see the races. And if people, I just wanted to touch the overall market and the volatility that you witnessed the last couple of days. I mean, they destroyed Apple. NVIDIA, they had it below 400 the other day. It's back up to 438. Tesla was down to 193. It's up to 218. This whole game is volatility. That's all it's about. Caterpillar was down yesterday. Today it's up 7. Let's see what UNH is doing. That was down, up 4. This is all about volatility. Volatility gets people to sell, buy, create activity. And if you look, all the volume is big in these names. So if you wanted to play a day trade, that's the place to play in those big names, not the small names. The small names are stocks that you invest in, figure out your story. If you want to play the short squeeze game, okay, they go when they happen. They just happen to go. That's just there's no fuse. We don't know what the fuse is. We don't know where it stands. But these things happen. That's how it happens in these names. All right. These other names are just out of control stuff. And These are things that you can play yourself every day. And I tell people, go out there and play them. Those are the places you should be playing, never in the small stocks. Don't give me a symbol of AG, B, C. It's 30 cents. It's going up. They're all manipulated. You're going to get killed. The shorts lay into these things. You can't do anything about it. They may be great companies. I don't know, but don't ask me about them. I won't ask. I won't answer to anyone about these names. All right, because they're all manipulated, and it's very difficult to tell me you're going to buy, $20,000 worth of a stock you know nothing about because there's volume and someone's talking about it. I mean, good luck. Don't ask me about it. We've been following the same names for 3 years. All right, Finger Motion's been longer. So if you don't believe that we know what we're talking about, move along. Sell your stock. I could care less. But we don't go from this stock to 10 other ones. All right, we stick to what we hear. If we hear something good, we pass it along. All right, I do believe that Wolf. I do believe that Wolf is going to be a home run. It's tied to Bitcoin. They make money at Bitcoin 2,000. Bitcoin is 34,000. The last time Bitcoin was 34,000, Wolf went to $4. It's $1.15. So those are things you look at and say, okay, I memorized it. If it's 34,000, it went from 60 cents to 4, and Bitcoin was 34,000. Bitcoin is 34,000 again, and the stock is $1.15. But it's not a high flyer until it becomes a high flyer. That's how it works with these names. Yeah, William, you had something to say?
Well, Not Legal Advice wants to know, is it the same pattern every day?
It's yes, it is. And your jokes are following the same pattern every day.
You got him. You got him. I like that.
His jokes have the same pattern. They just keep going down, sliding into that mud pit every day. Listen, I bumped into Richard last night on Ace's call. And for anybody who's up late, Ace does a great job. Richard popped in.
Ace does a great job.
He's like the what do you call those shows that come on at night, 11:30, whatever they're called.
Larry King.
No, he's like you'd be more of a Larry King, but he's more of a Tonight Show host. Whatever those shows on Jimmy Kimmel or something like that.
Well,
woke. Having a beer.
Are you saying that Ace is woke?
No, I'm saying he's woke. He's not. He's not. Definitely not that. He's a Trump guy. But he's just.
I don't know what you're looking
at 11 o'clock. He's like that old radio star. Allison Steele used to do the radio on the hard rock station. Very mellow. He's just even keeled, and he walks you through it.
Yeah.
Richard is a Not Legal Advice is a tough guy to listen to. He gets angry. He's up and down.
That's me. That's me. That's not legal advice. That's me.
No, I'm just they're all good people, and I listen. People don't understand if you're in this game, take the time to listen to these people. They've educated themselves. Richard is an attorney. He's not giving you legal advice, but he's teaching me about these documents where I look at them, I get dizzy. He's breaking it down for me so I understand what the hell's going on with Alpine. Alpine is the prime broker tied to GTII, has been accused of security fraud by every agency, and for some crazy reason, they're trying to fight and stay alive. The only reason we can believe they're doing anything is to move assets around. There's no other reason to even keep doing. You see, I don't even understand why they keep fighting. They must be spending a fortune just trying to keep this thing alive while everybody wants to shut them down. So I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing it for a reason.
Novak Djokovic is back on serve. It doesn't look good for the Joker.
I just relax about that tennis shit. Anyway, the stock, since I'm looking at Finger Motion back and forth on the 100 shares, it was 563 to 565. Now they did the short selling cha-cha on 100 shares back and forth to get it to 558 to 560. And their goal is to try to make it red today, like it's going to change everyone's opinion. It's 356,000 shares. They're short 200 million, 200 million, and 3 million real shorts to cover. Where they think that we all forgot that those don't exist. So again, they're just, it's like someone hiding behind the pole. We can't see them. That's what they're trying to do.
Is Jeff the real short?
Jeff,
In other words, Jeffries, J-E-F. In other words, do you think Jeffries has taken over Lynn Partners' position?
No. I think they maintain it someplace else, but their prime broker, Jeffries, is tied to Lynn with the prime broker. That these account. Listen, everyone on the call, if you had $100 million in short sales, would you trust some guy in Germany that you don't know with this position? You're stealing it. He's holding it on. He's holding on to it for you. All right. Whoever's doing it for Lynn is very close to them. This is the guy that they trust, whether it's a cousin or that guy, the Australian guy, to someone that they trust and they know. All right. They're definitely attached at the hip, like the Kramers. And the short selling and finger motion, because of the borrowed shares, we can see them actually working together. Okay, because they've been returning some of the shares and they're actually working together. So we have the real short and the naked short working together, which we always believe they are working together, because no one's going to jump into finger motion and short 3 million shares of a stock they know nothing about. Or because some idiot wrote a fake report. 3.3 million is a massive position to be short. That's no joke. The stock, this is normal volume. 300 finger motion normally trades 150,000 shares. This is still above average as far as I'm concerned. 358,000 shares. If you have to buy 3 million shares at this type of volume, it's going to take you 10 days.
You first told me the story of Finger. I think there was 4 million shares short. Maybe it was 6. And that was
6
it.
million naked short. That was 6 million naked with no real short.
With no real short. And now,
So
just over the last 3 months, you say that you added up 90 million, more than 90 million shares sold.
Well, if you look at it, we traded 1 million. It was 1,000,001, the average every day.
Right.
It was 60%. So I'm just saying 600,000 a day times 90 is 54 million. That's in 90 days.
Unbelievable.
The number grows every day. I told you, my older brother told me that. He said, listen, just do 100,000 a day is 500 a week, 2 million a month, 24 million a year. That's 100,000 shares a day. We've been averaging 600,000 shares a day almost. 600,000.
Wow.
600,000, 3 million a week, 12 million a month. It just goes, you don't realize how big this mess goes. And if they're still doing it, means they're not covering. And then to add wood to the fire, they started to really short the stock.
Right, right. And if they were covering, wouldn't it show up in the price?
Well, if they were covering, the 3 million shares that they really borrowed would be back to zero.
Right.
Right. We don't see that because the borrow rate is still 150%.
Right.
Right. So all they're trying to do is the shares they're returning, the borrow rate will go down and it'll show you some more shares to borrow. That's all it's saying now.
Right.
And yesterday we saw them washing stock so they can return some of those borrowed shares. So the 3.3 million could be, 2.9 million today, because but the naked short went up 400,000 more shares. They just moved it. They moved it from column A to column B.
I thought that was all legitimate. I'm being a jerk. I'm being a jerk.
People were posting it yesterday. There's no bid, no offer, 25,000 shares trades in a second. It doesn't move the stock up. It doesn't move it down. It's like all prearranged.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And if you look at GTII, all that's volume today in the stock is 65 cents, 9 cents, almost 1.3 million. I told you before, if anybody on this phone was short, or you ever want to get into the business of shorting, let the stock go higher. If people are willing to pay 75, 80, $1 or higher, $1.50, let it go up.
Let's set up a naked short fund and let's do it over the internet, right? Like not today, but let's set up a call. The SEC will be listening because they're looking for pump and dumpers, but they'll probably let us do it. And instead of constantly being the victims, we can just start attacking stocks.
Oh, this would be great. We can get Richard, not legal advice, to write fake stories that stay within the legal boundaries. He can set up a new LLC every 3 weeks and start a new website and just write terrible stories about every company.
Just tell jokes.
It's
that could be
easy to
the
do.
top headline, a joke.
Right.
Drive the stock down.
Don't say any jokes related to the FNGR GTII. That'll make our stocks go down. Don't tell jokes about Jeffries. Go get them. Listen, when Lynn Partners has a prime broker like Jeffries, all right, that means they're up the food chain. All right, they're not exactly the complete trash. The creamers are the complete trash of the equity markets, and they use complete trash. Everything around them is trash. Prime broker is trash. They're off. Everything about them stinks. All right. Lynn Partners has the perception as though they're Harvard guys. They have an office on Madison Avenue, and it's very different. All right. If you looked at the Kramers, they're sitting there. They look like the office from the Wolf of Wall Street when all those guys were cold calling from the garage in Long Island. That's what it looks like. That's what they are. All right. Listen, that doesn't make them bad people. They're just operating. The laws are letting them to loot. All right. And we're saying, hey, enough of this. Get the fuck out of here. But they continue to try to.
They are bad people. I think Lynn Partners is all bad people.
Oh, no. Listen. Angels with dirty faces, or whatever that term was. I forget what it was from the James Cagney movie. But this is where they operate. They smile and they're stealing. They could care less about you, your family, everything. Nobody counts. Everybody. They could care less. What the company does, kill it, kill it, kill it. Lynn Partners figured out a better mousetrap. Their better mousetrap is this. Let's offer you $10 million when you come to the office. The CEO, the CFO, whoever's in the company, they almost faint because they just met their savior. $10 million, we can do this. We don't need money for 2 years. And they leave, and their stock price is going down. And they're sitting there, don't worry about it. The stock will go up when we put this great news out that we're funded by Lynn Partners. The news comes out, it pops 50 cents, and then it goes straight down. They all have the same pattern. Lynn sells into it. Yorkville does it. The Kramers do it. Savvy probably did it. They all do the same thing. When there's volume, you sell into it. And at the end of the day, they lend you 10 million and they steal 100 million. I would do that trade till the cows come home.
Mm-hmm.
All right. These guys are just printing, stealing money. The CEO and those people in the company walk out smiling. They're happy. They go out to have a nice dinner. They're laughing. We're great. We got all the money. In 2 years, the company's worth 3 cents. They have to reverse it, and they're basically homeless at that point. That's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Because now the company, the Lynn Partners makes you reverse the stock. They never convert. Their stock is worthless. They just keep doing it, and that's what they do. Yeah. It's the same pattern. I wish I could tell you it was different. It's the same pattern every time.
Yeah. Every day.
Every day in the morning, the stock opens up a penny, 2 pennies, and then they start doing the cha-cha to move it down. I always tell you, never chase, accumulate, never run. Never run into this fire. You just accumulate. If you want to buy stock, there's 900 at 565. You buy 300, and then you bid 300 at 561. And if they hit you 561, you bid 557. So 300, you'll get a 560 average versus them paying 560 something. You buy 1,000 shares, 3 cents. That's how Wall Street's about, making pennies. The whole thing is about pennies, yet these guys have thrown pennies out the window. And that's why it's so deadly. There's no dollar amount. These guys could care less. I was just looking at GTI. Basically, it's traded almost 1.3 million since I've been looking at it for the last, 40 minutes. It's basically traded maybe 30, 40,000 shares. So no one's even selling it. And it's just basically just sitting here. So why is it so tough for it to move up? It's very interesting. And finger motion, the same thing. They pushed it down on, 200, 100, 100. Now it's back to 61, 65.
Is Finger dark pooling buy-ins today? What are dark pools? Do dark pools matter? Does dark pools interrupt the flow of the price?
People, a dark pool is you going to the corner, buying the stock in a dark pool that is authorized by the exchange and the SEC. When they sell it to you short, they must deliver what you purchased. That's it. It could be 100 dark pools. Doesn't make a difference. The settlement system is what makes the difference. There is no settlement system. That's the key. Stock settlement does not exist. That's the key. Nothing else. I could care less who I buy my stock from. Whoever sells it to me better deliver it to me, right? That's all it's about.
Guess who's asking this question? I'll give you one guess.
Easy brand.
Am I correct that Ham thinks all of the trading on Finger is legitimate?
I think the shares are legitimate.
Yeah, am I correct that Ham thinks all of the trading in Finger is legitimate?
Well, that question's over my head. I can't figure it out. It's got me twisted. Do I think the trades are real or legitimate? I think that today's volume, I think there are buyers in the stock. I think when a buy is done, you can see the manipulation trying to mark it down. You can see that. Like, who's wasting their time trying to offer 200 shares from 565 to offer it at 560? Who gives a shit about your 200 shares?
Right.
They're moving markets just trying to get you to sell it at 558. There's 100 shares bid. If I have 200 to sell, I'm just selling it. I'm not going to sit here and move it back and forth for 9 hours, wasting my time. Would you do this all day? It's like watching grass grow. I'm crazy.
I can't believe we're doing this 5 years later, 4 years later.
We're watching this stuff, and here it is: 400 by 500, 200 by 100. All right, it's the whole thing is now there's another 100 at 560. I mean, it's just who's wasting their breath doing this stuff?
Yeah.
I would sit there and say, okay,
well,
you think the stock is worth 10? I'm gonna sell it short at 10. I'm not even gonna come down here anymore.
We know Lynn Partners destroyed several companies out of Australia. They destroyed CRTD. They destroyed, obviously, Finger more than twice.
Listen, look at SYTA. The stock was 10. They destroyed it, and recently they reversed it. And it's back to 60 cents. It can't possibly be that it did another round trip. Hold on, I have to look. I'm sorry. Give me a second.
Okay.
If that's the truth, then it's out of control. It's unbelievable. Give me a second.
But imagine, and they're obviously a front for somebody else, I think.
Wait a second.
But imagine if they make $100 million on 50 companies.
Wait. The stock had 100-for-1 reverse split after it got destroyed down to pennies. It opened up again, up at $5 or something like that. The high was $5 on August 15th. It was $5 on August 15th. today, after they did 100 for 1 reverse, it's 60 cents. Lynn Partners has robbed these poor people 10 times over already. Destroyed it.
But he cries to his CEO that it's not, he's not the one doing it. Little.
There's no CEO. A CEO that was blind and drunk couldn't do this to a public company as fast as they do it. A drunk driver hitting a pole every 2 blocks, killing people.
But remember, there's systems in place. It's probably not really happening.
So people, please remember that symbol, SYTA. Sam, yellow, Tom,
When
apple.
did they do the reverse?
August.
100
It was
for
$5.
1.
It's in August. They did 100 for 1 to $5.
And how much did Lynn Partners supposedly lend to them?
$10 million.
Did it ever? I guess they got it. 10 million. I don't know enough about it, how many shares are out, but if it went.
The item, whatever it's called, closes $6 million investment from in 2021.
6 million.
Lynn Partners, 6 million.
Okay, 6
in
million.
2021. Since that time, the stock, the fixed conversion price of $10, blah 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 blah, it gets destroyed.
And just from August, it's down 99%. No, it's down 95%.
This is the second run.
The second time. So they've made probably, I don't know how many shares they sold, but they've probably made many multiples on that 6 million by destroying the company. And Gary Gensler doesn't care. And if the SEC is watching, why don't you look into that dumping? But I know it's easier to go along, get along. It's incredible. So Jeff Easton is guilty of this. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Been raped since 2021. 2021. The shareholders in that company, listen, people, just remember, if you're the CEO of the company, it's not Richard, it's not legal advice. You sit down, your cousins, your family, you say, I just raised $7 million or $6 million from Lynn Partners. A New York firm gave us $6 million because they love our business plan. And you guys all say to each other, should we buy it? Yeah, it's all public information. And family and friends and cousins and friends of the cousins all buy the stock at 10. It went from 10 to pennies. You reversed it back up to $5, and it's pennies again. Those people lost. They lost every penny possible. They can't. There's nothing left. So the CEO helped murder and destroy everyone he knows in his life. He can't sell any stock. Lynn Partners is looking at him saying, hey, what are you going to do now? You got to help us out. We want to get our money back here. And that's the destruction. It's easy to see. That's what they do. The SEC, the DOJ, and the Secret Service should go there and throw these guys out of a window by their hair, if they have any left. Throw it out the window. These guys are criminals. That is, I just showed you something that's so
just
awful.
One company.
That's just one. So whoever's doing this stuff for Lynn has a trading desk somewhere in this world. Okay? It's not just one guy sitting here, some sleepy old guy. They're destroying many stocks at the same time. So they have a network of stocks and they have someone monitoring all these positions. And it's not just one person. They probably got 3 to 4 or 5 people doing it. That's how this works.
Yeah, and they all work together.
Now, the Kramers are different. They have a computer that they bought from Sears, one of those plastic ones that has no quotes on it. And all they have on it, all they did was write on it, sell, the sell button. That's all they did. They don't even let the stocks. These guys Lynn is very different than the Kramers. But at the end of the day, they're both murderers. Both murderers.
Sears.
They used to sell those plastic. They used to put them out for display at the plastic computers. That's what the Kramers use. They don't even have a computer. They don't even know what the Dow Jones is. They have no idea. Charlie Mayo's got a white fetish, smokes a cigar, looks like a big piece of shit in his mouth. The other one thinks he's a boxer. They're just criminals out in Long Island. One of them's got his house under his father's name. Everybody went to the FBI. How much more do we have to do? I got me. I don't know what else you have to do. If I go over and report my neighbor is running around, raping people in his house, the police will be there in 3 minutes. These guys are murdering family. They couldn't kill us. Destroying companies, family. Nothing. They rob from everyone. Military, police. Like no one cares. Listen, this live presentation that's going in front of the Secret Service, I'll start getting them up. Will inform the Secret Service, the DOJ, the FBI, that these naked short sellers are stealing your pension money. They're not taking ours anymore because we know how to protect ourselves. They're stealing your money. So while you're out there providing a service, protecting the American people, the naked shorts are stealing your money. So you put your life on the line every day and they're stealing your money. You have to be insane to send your child to work, to go into the military for this country, anything, because they don't really give a shit about anybody. Nobody. You're out of your mind.
Well, they care about Hunter.
I'm going down to all the immigrants that are coming from. I'm going down to Central America. Wherever they're leaving, that's where I'm going.
Actually, it is amazing when you go down to Central America. I've never been to South America. I wish I had, but anyway, long story. But it's beautiful down there. But they're all coming up here to live next to you
listen.
The garden spots of New York City.
Listen, I wouldn't mind. I have no problem with immigration if they did it properly. But at the end of the day, they're not even protecting us from earning money to support our families.
Or from smallpox. Screw all the politics. What about an inoculation? You used to have to go across the border and you had to show the shots you had.
All right.
It's not racist to ask for, have you had your shots?
All right.
And I'm not talking about any new modern genius.
All I care about is, hey, listen, I have no problem whatever they're doing, as long as they're legitimate. I got no problem with that. But again, the U.S. government doesn't even protect U.S. citizens. You have to be insane as a police officer, as a military person, to put yourself on the line, a first responder. When your car gets in a car accident, these are the people picking you up. How would you like to be a hedge fund? What do you do for a living, sir? Oh, I rob your money. I would take you on this stretcher and dump you in the river. If they only knew what these people do to them. These are the people that save your family's lives. They don't even care. That's what bothers me the most. The SEC doesn't even, they know about this for 35 years. Not 2 weeks, 35 years. MMTLP has got it the furthest. They got the Congress blasting the SEC. I just wish someone would say, cut the bullshit and answer the questions. That's all they have to say. Stop lying to me. You've been spinning it in books. I have people that are standing their lives on hold for a year because you can't answer a stupid question. Who are you protecting? And you want to know something? I'm going to the authorities and I'm going to have them arrest you because you're protecting criminals. That's what I would say if I was in Congress. Not yes, sir. Let me think about it. I need more answers. Enough.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Can we put you in charge?
Nah, I'd be hanging them. I wouldn't even let them talk. I said, yeah, come in this room. That would be the end of them.
We have a group of people that'll surround you. You can walk away from questions. And
I just don't know how anybody can do that. It's like you're walking away, leaving people in their cars who've been in a car accident to die. They're on fire. They don't even care.
they don't
The people
care.
are sick. Hey, can you get me to the doctor? Nah, I'll get you later. They don't even nothing. I need some medicine. You don't deserve it.
That's
That's
it.
what it's like.
That's it.
It's just think about what they're doing. It's like unbelievable. And they waste everyone's time in their life. You got one life, people. One. You're supposed to be enjoying it. No one told you that when you invest in a stock that you have to go to war. But if you don't do it, and I'm not asking you to invest, but you need to go to war to protect your family from what I just described. Because if you can see it the way I see it, it's the most disgusting thing.
They
I've ever
just
seen in my life.
steal. They just steal. And I had a friend say to me, she's a smart woman. She said to me, "I'm just going to put my money in ETFs. They'll give me 8%, and I'll let them have everything else. I know they'll make 20, but I'll let them have it because I'm tired of all this." But you put your money in ETFs, they're going to steal from you there too. It's all stealing, these guys.
Eventually, the pool is getting less and less. People are not having as much money. The middle class is disappearing, and it's just hurting you and your family. That's it. I don't know how to tell you, Listen, I do whatever I can to protect my family. I won't let them put the money in the equity market unless I tell them and I watch it. All right? They own 2 stocks. That's it. Everything else, I wouldn't tell them to invest a penny in. I don't care if it's Apple, IBM. They just drove NVIDIA, Tesla, even Apple. It recently
Down
got
100 points.
I don't know how many points it was down. I think it was below the one. Just give me a second. I'll look in a second.
Yeah.
I'll-
Because that's
Hold on one
those
second.
six or seven stocks the Fed controls.
Oh, you can't believe the people on this call. We get upset when our stock goes down a nickel. These things are dropping 20 points. Apple was just 166 the other day. They drove it down from 180 to 166, and now it's working its way back up again. NVIDIA was even more crazier, or Tesla, NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the darling of Wall Street a couple of weeks ago. It had all the AI chips. It was just, everyone was talking about it. It went the other day, it was 434, and the other day the low was 392. You're talking $40 down, and it's $40 back up. And people will say, "Oh, you got a great opportunity." What about the poor bastard who got flushed out in that? He had it on margin. He had his 1,000 shares. He lost $20,000. They don't care about that.
They don't care about market integrity. I've sat behind Gary Gensler while, in my judgment, he lied to Congress about what he was doing. But he's a gentleman. Let's just assume he's an idiot, not a liar. But he said that our markets are the most transparent, the deepest, and he'll root out fraud wherever it is.
Most transparent. That's why he had to make a new rule so people shorting so we could be more transparent. Because there is no transparency.
None.
So he made a rule they've been doing this since I've been following it, since 2000, since I really paid attention. In 24 years, they're making rules that are rules on top of rules that they have no rules.
That only help the shorts. I mean, you can go through it, but when they made decimalization, that helped the shorts. When they moved the trading desks out of the compliance supervised brokerage firms, that helped the shorts. When they didn't allow retail to buy stocks under $5, that helped the shorts. When they tell a retail account, sell all stocks under $5, that helps the shorts.
Oh God, they killed it. They killed the companies.
No research, no settlement.
Listen, let me just recap this for you.
Yeah.
Charlie, Eddie, Larry, Uncle.
Charlie, say it again. Say it again.
Charlie, Eddie, Larry, Uncle.
Okay.
I went to see the company. They have scientists. The head guy's a neurosurgeon from a trauma hospital. I think it was NYU. I forget where he was. He was a trauma surgeon, neurosurgeon. They were a spin out of Biogen. This is a major spin out. They destroyed the company, and now the company who's working on all these great things, its stock is, they took money from Yorkville. I told them don't do it. It was 80 cents. It's 20 cents. And I posted, stay away from this company. I posted it. I hated to do it because the guy was a good guy, and I was introduced to him to go to help him out. He didn't understand it. He thought it can beat Wall Street with great news. And the stock is down from 80 cents to 20 cents. 20. And if you go look at his holders, hold on a second, I'll give it to you in a second. And this is how stupid they are. This company has holders. Star International has 15 million shares. They were part of Biogen. That's where they got their shares from.
Right.
Star CB got 7 million. I mean, Vanguard, Goody Capital Management, these BlackRock, Millennium, as Englander. These people they own the stock. Vanguard owns 2 million. I mean, it's just, and the stock is 20 cents.
Unfortunately, the same thing's happening to MMAT because the board just doesn't understand. They can't do the reverse split. But lawyers don't understand it, or they do, or they're bought out.
Listen, all these lawyers that represent these companies, everyone, they all shit their pants. They don't want to confront the SEC. They don't want any questions. For example, GTI announced they were doing a special dividend. The board of directors did it. And, you know, when you're a NASDAQ company, you can't say that. You have to get it physically approved, done, do the whole thing before you announce you can do it. So NASDAQ versus where GTI is on their exchange, on the lower exchange, they can say things like that, but the NASDAQ, you can't. So the NASDAQ, so unless the company actually has everything done already, they can't say anything. You can't even say your board of directors approved it. And yet GTI did say that because I looked at it the other day. You know, when they wanted to do their dividend, the board of directors approved it and they gave it fair disclosure. They told the world.
Right, right.
If you're a NASDAQ company, because I advised a couple of NASDAQ companies to do this, and you know the board of directors approved them, and now they have to wait for them to actually do the whole transaction before they can announce it because NASDAQ doesn't allow it. So companies that are under attack can't move fast enough until they have everything ready to go in 30 seconds. So you have to sit here and you wait for the attorneys to do whatever they have to do.
What was the largest pool of money you ever traded for in the 90s or the 80s? How big was SAC? It didn't exist.
It was small. They were small back then. The biggest player I dealt with was Michael Steinhardt.
How much did he have?
5 billion, which was like 100 billion today.
And what is it? What are these guys all managing now? Trillions. How do they get their returns?
Well, it's very difficult. If you had an account like Michael Steinhardt and you were a good broker, you know, making 6 cents a share, these guys were so active, trying to move and get stocks that worked all the time. Listen, they used to buy stocks that didn't work. You know, they would lose $2 on and get rid of it. Let's move on. I mean, you know, they take a loss of $2 on 1 million shares and pay, you know, 6 cents a share to get rid of them. I mean, it's just big money going in and out all the time. And he still had great returns. I mean, I did his execution. I seen what he did. I've never seen him buy a stock where there was prearranged a negative story coming out. I've never seen manipulation. I did it. I would tell you. I'd be the first person to rat him out. I used to short stocks for him and not hear boo about it. I told you I used to buy puts when they shorted things. And one stock, it was Surgical. I think I lost 35 times. I bought puts. I was the biggest short seller on the street in it, and I never made a penny. And when I stopped looking and didn't pay attention to it, the stock dropped $80. That's how fast it went down. But it took 2 years or something like that for it to happen. But he waited. He put his money into it, and he kept averaging higher. So, I mean, these guys, this is how the game is played. Today, these guys do a story and they want to mark it down in a second and get it. They want to short 1 million shares at 12, have a negative story at 12.15, and cover it down 3 points at 12.45. That's today's market.
Yeah.
So if you're in that group, you're doing quite well.
One guy's asking you if he could buy 100 shares of Finger, or should he just wait for Black Friday and buy a new television set?
Buy the television set. At least you use that 7 days a week. You don't have to suffer. This is not an easy game. I know it's 100 shares. It's not a lot of money. It's a lot of money to some people, believe me. But you know what? Enjoy your life. Get the TV. And I welcome and I appreciate you coming on the calls, asking questions, and understanding the fraud, because you know what? One day you'll be able to buy the 100 shares of something and you say, oh my God, I made 20,000 on this stock, or I made this and I made that, because the market is real again. And I can support my family without losing my money, hard-earned money, over fraud. So again, if you need that TV, get the TV. All right. I have TV.
I said TV. He just said Black Friday. Maybe he's going to buy a audio visual set. I don't know.
But again, I'm just listening. Again, $600. Again, if you need to buy the TV, go enjoy your life, watch TV, but never quit fighting. I don't care if you have $1 in the stock, or you don't have any money in the stock. You need to educate yourself, because I don't care how old you are. If you're 20 years old, listen, I'm sure we've had people that are 20 years old that joined this fight. And here they are, William. Today, they're 23.
Well, and I have a feeling that unless the market crashes, they're going to be here when they're our age, and the same shit's going to go on.
Well, listen, I just turned 40, so again, I don't wish it on anybody. Still be doing
Man,
stuff.
You look ridden hard and put away wet.
Hey, listen, today, just one quick pickleball story. I know it's late. I played against a guy, and the other gentleman who I just really met, he always wears a Yankee hat, a Yankee shirt. And his wife passed away from COVID. She had breast cancer. She passed away from COVID. And he told me this. He was telling me the story. And he's such a nice guy. And the guy he was partnered with was a total scumbag. I hit this guy.
Jeff Easton?
No, I wish it was Jeff Easton. I hit this poor guy 5 times in the chest with rockets. And then I turned to the guy, Steve, and I said, Steve, I says, I like you. This guy's a jerk. I said it right to his face. I said, I keep on hitting at you. That's for him. And I felt good about it, because the other guy was so nice telling me his story. A gentleman. I said, I can't hit him. I went out of my way to drill this other guy as hard as I can. And I hit him 5 times in a row. Boom, 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 boom. He didn't even say anything. He knew he'd get away at that point. But don't be an asshole. Life is too short. I'm not like that. When you're an asshole, you got to pay the price. That's the way it goes. Anyway, everybody, listen, have a great night. Go buy that TV. When's Black Friday? I don't even know when it is.
I don't know. Is it after Thanksgiving or?
I thought Thanksgiving was over. I'm sorry. I thought today was Friday. Today's Thursday. And I thought, now I'm thinking Thanksgiving's over, and it didn't even come yet. So I apologize to everyone.
I don't know, but
no, I memorized numbers.
Everyone appreciates. Huh?
I'm good at numbers, and I memorize these things. And,
you are very good at numbers and memory of patterns, and except you can't prove it. All you ever say is it's the same pattern. So how do we know you memorize more than one pattern? You might only memorize one pattern.
That's Richard. Richard's got to be giving you that line. I always say it's the same pattern. It can be the same pattern for anything. You're right.
How do we know how smart you are? You only recognize one pattern.
I only know one pattern. Anyway, listen, everyone, have a great night, and please watch Richard's videos about Alpine and GTII. Again, where we lack, he's picking up on things that we haven't touched on in a while. please give him a shout. Ace at night is when you want to relax. Go watch this guy. He goes live at night.
He's unflappable.
He is unflappable. I try to make fun of him. I made fun of his friend, his 49er hat. He just takes a sip of his beer and goes right on down the road like no big deal. Don't worry, I'll get him to bend. I'll break him.
He's like the Blues Brothers. They're on a mission from God.
He's on a mission.
He knows that he's on a mission from.
Well, he's on a mission from God. I appreciate that. Listen, I can't thank you. Everyone that's been around the stock has been really nice. There's been a few pricks, but most of them have been pretty nice. The pricks I can handle. They can call me up and yell at me. That doesn't bother me.
There's great people, great people around.
Everyone's had a loser in their life. Not everybody's 100%. All right, that's the way life goes. If you can't handle it, I understand it. If you can't afford it, hey, listen. Every family has issues. You got to protect your family. I tell you that every time. I'm the first guy to tell you that. I don't care if you got a stock up 20, you think it's going up 100, you don't have any money. You got the wrong guy. I would make you sell it to protect your family. And then when it goes up another 20, you're going to curse me out. But meanwhile, you put food on your family.
Well, if we look over the last 2 years, had we traded the way you trade all the time, we'd be ahead. But on the other hand, it's hard to know when they're going to go, and it's hard to.
Well, listen,
selling is the hardest thing.
I changed my pattern years ago where I said I didn't want to sit in front of a computer. In order to trade NVIDIA and Tesla and those stocks, you have to be chained to your desk looking at your computer all day long, waiting for the right time to buy it. And when you buy it, you got to wait for the right time to sell it.
Well, that's exactly
and after you do it,
that's right.
And then you got to sit there again and try to find the next spot, whether it's in that name or the next one, and stare at it all day. And I didn't want to do that anymore. If I make $10 million tomorrow, my life's not going to change. I'm going to get up, go play pickleball, get a sandwich, get a Wendy's chicken sandwich, come back home, eat dinner, watch the football. It's the same thing. So all these people think that they're fighting to become Warren Buffett. People give up on it. It doesn't make a difference. I don't care how much money you get. All right? I know it helps you. You think it helps you. If you're piss poor, I know it helps you. But again, everyone keeps looking for this rainbow. When you get there, it's life is the same. So don't let anything drag you down. Fight through it. If you need help, William, we're always here to help out. And again, if you're stuck in a stock, you need help, reach out. We'll be glad to help you out. All right, everybody. Have
all
a
right,
great
Ham.
night.
Everyone is very thankful.
Nah, don't worry about it. Thank you anytime.
All right. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Call ended.
Oh. I don't remember any particular question. I don't remember any particular questions. What's that song? The room was shaking, the floor was shaking. Oh, that's Cara Emerald. The room was shaking. Anyway. Well, let's stop being losers. We're not going to be losers. So on logic, I'm hesitant to sell because I think the NASDAQ's going to require them to set up a new record date, because I think the rule is you have to announce the record date. But hey, I'm not a securities attorney, and I don't know what I'm talking about. Djokovic he was leading at least one break, if not two breaks, in the first set. And now it's 4-4 in the second, and it was 6, and he lost while we were on to Greek Spore. I wouldn't average down. I would consider. I mean, I'll see if I. Where's my? Oh, it's back here. The room was shaking. The floor was. Oh, now I don't. I don't have my. Oh, there's one. So I don't know. Let's say you own. I'm making it up because I don't know what MMAT traded for.
Call from Mike Claren.
But if you bought, I have no idea if this is a legitimate price, but let's say you bought 10,000 MMAT at $1 and you've been holding it for 9 months. And now it's 14 cents. And you're down. You're down almost $10,000, but you figure I can't take that loss. I can't take that loss. Well, what I think you can do here, I'm not picking on MMAT, but you can, instead of selling that right now, you can buy 10,000 more at 14 cents. I guess that would be, I'm so slow. Let me just type it out. It's the decimals. Yeah, that's what I thought. So it would be $1,400. So now you're at risk. You'd have a 11,500 in 30 days, 31 days. I bet this stock is 7 cents. You sell your original position, and you hold on to this one. This is a strategy if you're afraid of missing out. I don't think there's anything to miss out on in MMAT. But then what if you do that? If you take a $10,000 loss, you're going, I can't afford to take it. I can't afford to take it. Well, I just showed you how you can take it without being naked the position. In other words, for 30 days, you'll have double the position. After 31 days, you'll just have the original amount of shares. But what's that $10,000 worth to you if you don't own any other stocks? If you don't own anything in your life? You can reduce your income by $3,000 this year because of that short-term capital gains loss. You can reduce it by $3,000. So I don't know your tax bracket, but that might be worth $1,200 to you. Now, the other thing is, what if you own MMTLP and you get a settlement, and the settlement is $15,000 to you? Oh, Joker, don't screw up, Djokovic. Don't screw up. He's going to lose. No, don't screw up. So what if you get a settlement from MMTLP for $15,000? You got to pay taxes on that. Well, You've already locked in your $10,000 loss, and you still are long that thing that you think is going to go up, whatever it is. Well, instead of paying 40% of this, which would be $6,000 in taxes, you only pay 40%. You pay $2,000 in taxes. You save $4,000 in taxes. There are ways over the next 2 months that we can act, and you can start making some of these monies, unfreezing yourself, and don't feel like we're all victims, which is what I think we are. I think we're. I watched the movie The Rounders last night for at least the 4th time. I didn't expect myself to finish it, but I did. And he says, if you don't know who the sucker is at the table within 30 minutes, you're it. And we're it. We're the sucker at the table. All those people on Twitter that make fun of us, all the shills that get me off my mark here, it's my fault. The nice guys that come in and they're on our side, but then they get everybody to move to a different stock, or the nice guys come in and all of a sudden the phones are ringing to the biggest shareholders to buy their stock. You wonder, wait a minute, are those nice guys really working with the big shareholders, or are they working with the shorts? Guys, this is hundreds of billions of dollars. It's trillions of dollars. This is bigger than cocaine. This is bigger than one industry that recently made a lot of money. It's bigger than Apple. This is so big. And everyone's bought. Everyone's bought. Everyone's bought. The only one that I trust out there is it's rounders like gambling, and I think it means making the rounds, but I'm not a gambler. But it has Matt Damon and Kaiser Sose in it, and is a very good movie. And it's got that other guy. Anyway, it's a very good movie. I watched Copland the night before, so I'm on a roll with old timers movies. And I think Sly Stallone does a pretty good job. Colonel Kurt's Horror. I don't know what that is. Gretchen Mol is hot. Yeah, I mean, she's too young, but she's pretty hot. And she's got some integrity. John Malkovich, yeah. John Malkovich. No, the stock market isn't gambling, Louis. The stock market isn't gambling. It just isn't. But if you just buy what this guy says, that girl says, that's gambling. The market for Gary Gensler and Goldman Sachs and Jeff Easton, it's not gambling. They just cheat. They just steal on a massive scale, a scale that is so large you can't even comprehend it. And look, BlackRock owns the media. I mean, there's no way out of this except fighting and being honest and not lying to ourselves. But the market isn't gambling. The market is not gambling, Louis. It isn't. You at least have a chance to win when you go to a casino. But you should be able to invest, Louis, without worrying that the lying, greedy bastards at Lind Partners are going to destroy the market cap of companies which deserve to exist, like CRTD. Ponzi scheme. Yeah, maybe, but Louis, the real problem is you're too young to know. There was a time when the rules were obeyed and the rules were enforced. Bill Clinton was the biggest Republican president ever, and he got through the idea that the banks can regulate themselves. I mean, I'm not quite sure what idiocy this supposedly smart man, how they came up with that. William, what do you take? I'm LBOQ ending up 21. I don't know that question. Let me look and see if something happened. Maybe they made an announcement. Nice. Yes. Joko. All right, let me see what happened to Logic. Oh, 20 cents. It's a huge spread. It's a huge spread. Choco. Okay, let me see if there's news. No news. So I don't know what it means. My guess is there's some news, but it's not been announced yet. So I don't know. What I would expect, Dos Equis, is they're going to announce the record date. And if they don't, it'll be the first time in my entire so-called career that I've ever seen a company not have to announce a record date. They'll announce that, and that should cause buying because people want to get in for the last chance. The other thing I think might be happening is they're going to announce at some point a reverse merger candidate into the shell that is better than the one they let go a year ago, almost a year ago, which at the time, to my memory now, I must admit I'm going on memories, I think was worth 40, 50, 60 cents a share to us. That was the one they let go. So since then, they've been talking to dozens of companies, screening them. And I'm sure that whoever they choose to put into the shell, and there must be somebody, because whoever it was demanded that there be a reverse split approved first, so that when they went into the shell, the stock price would be a high price. It's a private company, but whoever that is, I think has to be worth 50, 60, 70 cents a share to us. I just thought of something, though. I did that on 105,000. Remember Peter Bordes, the board member, who's paid for and works for us. He had a couple of friends that he brought in, and they did a deal that lined their pockets, and we don't know the full extent yet. We don't know, but my guess is Peter Bordes' friends are going to walk away with $20 or $25 million in profit for 45 days work. Why? Because they exist? Because they're good guys? Anyway, that money, I think, I think at least half of that money, if not all of it, the profit, should be going to shareholders, not to friends of the supposed friend of shareholders himself. But anyway, I think that deal might be announced, whatever it is. And if it's 150 million shares, let's call, because of Peter Bordes' efforts, well, it's his friends. Let's just say it was 60 cents at 105 million shares. So that's, okay. Now it's divided by Peter Bordes' 147 million. All right, so it's a low number. Thank you, Peter. Thank you. When we as shareholders need help pulling something across the line, I know who I'm going to call. There's a guy that has 2 friends on the street. They'll lend the money, and hey, just cost you 40 million shares. Anyway, 42 cents. So because of the financing that Peter Bordes arranged, our out of the gate equity position in CAUD 76 cents, not $1.20. And I would have to say now that instead of 60 cents, which I was hoping on the reverse merger, we have to say 40 cents. So thank you, Peter. I mean, I know your guys are great. Love it. I mean, that you could come up with $5 million and, take all that risk, which was basically claiming the entire company, which you're on the board of, and then they can sell whatever they want to sell. They get access to it first. We don't even know the record date yet. It all stinks to high heaven, Peter Bordes. Anyway, I would say that would be why the stock is up. I don't think, because of the dilution, these 2 last minute friends of a board member hedge funds caused, and they're friends, and he's a friend, but it diluted the stock 40 million shares on information that I'm seeing on over-the-counter markets. I stand ready to be corrected. That'll change. That's a change from what I was told, that we'd start out with 93 million shares. Instead, we're at 147 million. So thank you, Peter Bordes. How to turn victory into a tie. I really, Peter, I don't know who needed your help. It would have probably been better to take the 90 days to raise the money from us and just see what happened. I'm not impressed, Peter Bordas. Anyway, let's get off of oh, Djokovic double faulted. It's a tie break. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I've lost track. I need a Dos Equis. Oh, I lost track. All right, let's move up. 6-4. I can't believe Greek Spore. I'm not surprised. Greek Spore is very good. And Djokovic hasn't played in a while. And all right, it's 5-5. Djokovic 40-15. Joker. Don't tell me the score. I don't want to know it. I'm just catching up. 6-5. All right, now let's see. I guess Greek Spur held his serve. Yeah, it's 6-6. So now it's a tiebreaker. Djokovic gets the first point. All right, let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens. Djokovic, Greek Spor. Now it's the Greek. Although I don't think he is Greek. He looks more Norwegian. He looks like he could kick my ass is what he looks like. All right. Djokovic up 2 points. Let's go, Joker. Let's go, Joker. I know I'm behind. Double fault. So it's 3-0. Djokovic could win this tiebreak. All right, let's see. You're researching the Saita mobile. Yeah, Ham knows every story out there. MMTLP price. MMTLP price. $600 a share. I have no idea. You on this channel the other day, somebody said 136 million shares have been transferred to the transfer agent. So that still leaves a bit. On the other hand, they issued more shares, so I don't know where the ratio really stands. I've also heard numbers as high as 2 billion counterfeit shares. But if you use 1 billion counterfeit shares, just for ease of arithmetic, do I have to go through it again? Why don't we just go through it again? Same numbers, different bat channel. Okay, the Ora Grande, 2 years ago, 3.2 billion barrels of oil, 7 trillion cubic feet of natural gas and water. Zero value, zero value, zero value, zero. And this number now is probably 5 billion, but we'll stay with 3.2. And they own 100% of the project, and we'll ignore all that. And they have shallow zones. They've added shallow zones. They have production. We'll ignore all that. Let's just focus on this part of it. Exxon just bought Pioneer. For $30 a proven barrel of oil. I don't know if that's the right symbol for Pioneer. And that's the old symbol for Exxon. Come on, Joker. Big difference in the story. Big difference. Pioneer has something like 2,000 barrels a day in production. They have infrastructure everywhere. When Exxon is buying, they're buying a production facility. Nextbridge is down here in the valuation chart. Pioneer is way up here. And Exxon's willing to pay up here because they can put the money to work and increase cash flow and increase reserves. And it looks good on their balance sheet. A year and a half ago, oil was $35. Oil is now $100. No, it's not. It's 82. Whatever. It's $100. So instead of $30, let's use $15 in the ground. 3.2 billion. That gives $48 billion. Divide that by 260 million shares out. There, I'll give you my number. $184. But this is low, that's low, this is low, and this doesn't take into account you shouldn't be diluted. I think the number should be over 1,000, but you asked for a price. $184. I gave you a price. Where's Pecos Bill? Where's Pecos Bill? No, but anyway, I lived a lot of places in my life. Went to a lot of schools. So Oh boy. All right, I answered that one best I could. I think the price should be a lot higher, by the way, but just trying to be as conservative as possible. Chop everything, chop. I'm not feeling all that well. In fact, I don't feel that well, but I'm better than I was. I'm better than I was. I'm really short-tempered and pretty upset at how I think everybody is being abused by Wall Street, and I'm sick of it. I don't know how to fix it. I just don't know what else to do. I just do not know what else to do. No one cares, and I don't know who on this planet would support what the criminals do, but they do. They do. So anyway, private pile driver. I hope I didn't say something. I hope I didn't say something bad. I bet he'd stop and see you. I'd come down to Hell's Kitchen. I don't even know where it is, but what's this? Go with a standard $1,000 like VW response. All right, Cali Bro Bear. So you don't think it's going to respond? It's like it's going to squeeze. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. We tried to play the finger squeeze for quite a while now. I'm not going to bore you, Cali Bro Beer. You probably know much more. You probably know much more about it than I do. But the setup is there. So do you get out and just say it's never going to happen? Or do you say, I don't think it's happening this month, but I think it could happen in the next 6 months? Or do you say they have it totally under control? Jeff Easton is a prince, and he deserves to rape and pillage every company he can get after, and we should just leave this one alone and not plant our flag in the ground and try to fight. I don't know the answer anymore. Finger, you want my answer on finger? I don't think finger's going to squeeze in November. It might not squeeze in December. Is it going to squeeze in the next 6 months? Yeah, I think it could. I think it could. Could it squeeze tomorrow morning? Absolutely. Could it be $1,500 tomorrow morning, even though the only reason VW squeezes because an institution bought all the shares? Who do you think is going to be buying finger when it squeezes? What do you call Jeffries? A prime broker. Do you call that an institution? Cali Pro Bear? I don't know what you call it. But if the prime broker buys in all the stock, that's an institution. It's a big ass institution. So it could happen tomorrow. But I think people just have to stop living on tenterhooks regarding it. If you talk to Ham, it's as if it's going to go, tonight. I firmly believe Ham thought it was going to go several times over the last weeks. I think there are some pretenders out there, and I can't know who they are, so I won't speculate. but they're loud and proud and they get people to behave certain ways. And then next thing we know, the stock comes down. So I don't know. I don't know. But I think what you're saying is a positive. If it's a negative, I probably shouldn't have answered, but Callie Brobear, Ham just went through finger. I don't want to go through it again, but it's a massive naked short position that Tom Rock puts out there. If you want, I will see if I can get this gentleman from the American Stock Exchange who knows Ham, knows Tom Rock, and he'll just tell you there's no way there's any share short in finger. As far as I know, he hasn't read Susan Trimbath's book. He hasn't read the reams of data. He hasn't followed the stock trading. I have, even in my little following, I've never seen any stock bought back. None. But, you got to believe what you want to believe. Callie Brobear, I think what people should do with finger, get out of the calls, try to buy stock, buy enough stock that it makes a difference in your life if it squeezes. And maybe we can do that over the next 2 months. Maybe it'll get cheaper by the end of the month if we're lucky and it doesn't squeeze first. But I would just hold the stock and put GTC orders back out. It didn't squeeze. And Univest being signed up didn't have any impact at all. And Univest is not going to squeeze the stock to help us. And they're not going to run the stock through the $15 strike price like one guy repeatedly said on the internet. So I think we just have to pull back. The story hasn't changed, but you can change. You can change. You can get out. It's over $5. It was a buck. It was a buck 40 or something, buck 60 6 months ago. You can get out. Just get out and move on. But I'm not giving up on Finger or GTII. But I just think people have to change their frame of mind. It's a pot that's not boiling while we're watching it. But I will say that it could change just like that. It could be $25 just like that. So it's a tough decision to make. Santa baby. DBMM borrow rate up 50 times. Oh, look, I love DBMM and I love the management, love all that. But guys, as we move from stock to stock, spread it out, you know what we're doing? We're laying out there like sheep. First shear us, then gore us. They're just spreading it out. And each of the guys gets a fee and they get in IR and all that. Eventually, we're going to be able to go company to company to company and company, but we got to have a win first. But I don't know. That's that's my strategy. It hasn't worked. So who knows what's going to work. Well, Stony Bones, I got super pissed over GTII questions yesterday. I told everyone's going lower by year end. And the very next day, it gaps up. Well, I'm a contrary indicator, aren't I? And Stony, I guess you think that the fact that it's up today means it's going to be up by the end of the year. I think with Finger and GTII, Stony, you have to prepare, as with all of your stocks, that they're going to be lower in the last 2 weeks of the year. It's called tax loss selling. Doesn't last very long. Does not last very long. And Stony, sometimes when the strategy was played a lot, it would happen in the last 2 weeks of November, not in the last 2 weeks of December. But it's coming, Stony. It's coming. And I did get super pissed. And I was wrong. Stock's up. I hope you traded it today. Made some money. You made 20%. I don't think DBMM is a distraction. I think it's not going to go up this year. And I have a real concern, a real worry that DBMM will never go up. Let me guess the price before I'll look it up. But let me guess the price. 0.00015. So we'll spend some time on it. I own the stock, and we'll look at it. We'll spend time. So I was wrong. I said 0.0015, I think. That's what I said. And instead it's 0.0051. So it's higher. It's higher than I thought it was. The bid is 0.0001. The volume today, 2.86 million shares. It is seller boxed. Seller boxed. The stock DBMM is not going to go up. It's not going to go up. I own DBMM at much higher prices. Much higher prices. Maybe it'll go up. Maybe it'll go up in January. But at some point, the CEO can't win. I would love to set up an honest exchange and help companies like DBMM. But I wouldn't put it, if you buy DBMM, average down, it's a place to take losses, all of that advice. But I wouldn't put a lot of hope in DBMM going up. I don't like my beard, but hey, I maybe I'll wear one. If chicks dig it, they dig it. There you go, Steve Rosen. That's it, Steve. That's it. And we can do it. I know you're not new, Stony. I know you're not new. I forget. Why would you say that? I forget what I said to you. I forget what sorry. I didn't mean to imply. I consider you a wise person. Why did Logic run up? I have no idea. No idea at all. But Logic agreed to a merger or distribute Data Logic to Aubrey SPAC a year ago. The SEC took longer than it takes to build the Empire State Building to give it approval. Logic and Aubrey SPAC entered into financing with a friend of the company, a guy on the board, two of his friends, which diluted our positions all to hell. Yet, so we don't have 10x ahead of us. I'd say 3x, 4x, 5x. But hey, his two friends made 20, 25 million. Good on them. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. It's a wild west where these guys put the tie on. No, they don't wear ties. They go to the right places. They've got raised some money in a pool of money, and they can screw investors. Well, anyway, so Logic got approval for that deal from the SEC finally about a month ago. They set it up for shareholder approval. Shareholders voted on it last Monday, and Aubrey SPAC too. Now, I using the data that I was told, I thought there would be less than 100 million shares out. The CAUD side is only worth 76 cents after Peter Borda's friends got done with the company. 76 cents, not $1.20. However, there's good news there. There's good news there. ASPA closed at 27 cents. That's what is going to be CAUD. And that's over $2, even with Peter Borda's friends' dilution of shareholders' position. Thank you. With friends like Peter Borda's has, who needs enemies? But it's over $2. So that's good news. But the record date hasn't been announced. This hasn't, as far as I know, been made effective. It was voted on. As far as I know, you need a record date. But anyway, what I understand, Ed Fene, is that according to one guy, you can find it in the proxy. I don't know where. I read it in front of you. I couldn't find it anywhere. It shouldn't be that hard to find. The record date was last week, the 24th of September. According to E-Trade, the record date, the ex-dividend date, was 2 days ago. So it's possible that Logic is trading without ex-dividend, without the CAUD. Now, Logic has been, according to my friend, all legitimately, perfectly systems in place. The shorts have been shorting the heck out of Logic because once the CAUD's taken out, there's nothing there. Well, what could have happened, Ed, is for the Logic shell, they may be ready to announce the reverse merger candidate into that. I used to believe, until Peter Borda's and his friends so-called helped us with friends like them. I don't know why we need enemies. They diluted the share structure of Logic so much. I think the highest we'll get out of the Logic shell now is 40 cents, not 60, 70, or 80 cents in the short run. It's possible the deals will be much bigger. They'll have other, we just have to find out. But the shares were intended to go from 105 million down to 94 million. After Peter Bordes brought his friends in, they're at 147 million. So if you take 147 million against a static reverse merger candidate, which I think was going to give you 60 or 70 cents a share, you got to lower it by, I think you got to lower it by at least a third or even 50%. So I'll go with 40 cents. It's possible, Ed, that so that's a huge reduction because of the friends that Peter Bordes brought in. We were looking at $1.25 plus maybe 20 cents, $2 out of the gate, 20 cents to $2, 10x. But because of the friends they brought in, it looks like, and maybe there'll be other evidence given, but you go to OTC markets, there's a shitload of stock out now. It looks like the most we can be looking at as a value out of the gate because of Peter Bordes' friends who helped us is 76 cents plus 40 cents, $1.10. So from 20 to $1.10, that's 5x. It's still great. Still great. Now, what's the upside from there? The upside is that this company still has 2 or 3 or 4 more roll-ups to go into it. So this stock, which is trading at $27, could trade at $30, $40, $50 and stay there. So that's a positive. That's a real positive. I'm not excited about the logic show. I think like I just said, I think the upside is a double from here. Maybe you get to 50 cents. I wouldn't hold it. Once they announce it and then it runs up, I'd get out. I think Peter Bordes' 2 hedge funds diluted the shares of our company. Now, I could be proven wrong. No one's calling me back, and I'm not mad about that. They obviously can't talk to me, but it's possible after they make their 25 million lick because they exist, they'll return some of the shares. I don't know. But the ratio is going to be 12 to 1, not 9 to 1. I can't imagine a worse group to turn to than Peter Bordes' friends. But that's just me. That's just me. Anyway, let's look at other question. All right, Aubrey SPAC announces. Hey, Deacon Blues, you found a news release. Let's read it. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. That's awesome news. Thank you, Deacon Blues and Stony Bones. Aubrey SPAC announces the closing of its previous announced business combination. So the record date's obviously come and gone. Under the merger, Aubrey SPAC ceased trading. All right, that's not a very long news announcement. Let me see if I can find it elsewhere. That's great news. Thank you. Awesome news. Hopefully it's not as dire as I see it. ASPA. All right, current report. Okay, just announced from Aubrey SPAC. Um, okay, so on October 25, the NASDAQ listing qualification staff of the NASDAQ notified Aubrey SPAC that trading in the company's common stock units and warrants had been halted as the company no longer satisfies the continuing listing standard of maintaining 500,000 publicly traded shares. The current report is not a proxy statement or solicitation. I'm skipping a bunch of stuff. So they're basically saying that they no longer trade on the NASDAQ. That's all I see here. Notice. Okay, let me see if I can find it somewhere else, Deacon Blues. Where else could I find it? I could go to NASDAQ. And type in the symbol. Ah, can't get the symbol. Come on, Djokovic. I can't find that news story, Deacon Blues. So I guess I'll just have to wait. Yeah, I can't find that news story. Let me go to NASDAQ maybe. I mean to Yahoo. Okay, last trade 26.96. All right, I found it there. Aubrey today announced the closing of its previously announced business combination with DLQ. Well, Brent's son said, which is great, the ability to list upon a senior board stock exchange with a streamlined capital structure and enhanced financial profile was well worth the extended timeline to close the merger. That's very nicely said. But NASDAQ just took away their right to trade, which I assume can be reversed very quickly. Because if this deal's done, they had 41,000 shares trading, 41,000, that's it. But this will add 11,400,000, so that'll get them over that 500,000 shares minimum. So it should be okay. So that's pretty good news. And that sounds like to me, Deacon Blues, tomorrow you can sell your CAUD and you can sell your Logic. So I'm really surprised there's still no record date announced. Remember with HNRC, the NASDAQ or the NASD or somebody came back and reset a record date. So it's always possible that'll happen. But I think you can safely sell without, in fact, you'll probably have your CAUD in your account. Now, let me look to see if I do. No. For me, I think it'll be tomorrow. For me, it'll be tomorrow. Yeah, I guess it'll be tomorrow for me. Let me just see that one again. Yeah, fuck. Can't watch tennis at the same time as doing this. All right, that's where the break came. That's where the break came. All right, that's great news. So what's the closing date for when we bought shares? Look, there's been a complete lack of information on what the record date is, as far as I can tell. I've heard that it's up to Aubrey SPAC. That makes no sense to me. I just think I don't have the answer, but it's announced now. It doesn't give any record dates. Still, I do love you. Dun, 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 dun. Still. Dun, dun, dun. Morning's just a moment away. Yeah, there's no record date. I don't know your answer. I don't know the answer for a closing date or a record date. Yeah, that's right. That's right. CAUD will trade, and it could be exciting. These two hedge funds have 1.6 million shares they were just given, and apparently had access to trade before we did, but I don't know that for sure. 2 million shares have already traded, but they got in at that you can just do the arithmetic. 1.6 million shares times $20 if they get out at 27 or 25 or 30. It's nice paydays for those guys, but they're our friends. And I'm not sure about that ocean sailing. Does it say that? Logic will also trade under CAUD. Let me look. I have E-Trade. Let me look in mine.
Call from unknown.
Okay, there is Ocean. There is an announcement under Logic. So let me read that. It might be the same one I just read. Aubrey announced the closing of its business combination with DLQ under the symbol CAUD November 3. The previously trading units of Aubrey ceased to trade and were separated into the component parts. Yeah. I don't see that on the release here. I think Logic will still trade. The thing that Logic needs to do is announce its reverse merger candidate, and hopefully the 147 million share number is wrong, and hopefully the value of the reverse merger is much higher, and maybe it's still worth 50, 60, 70, 80 cents a share. I just don't know. But they need to announce it, and that's what will get the price going up. I'm not sure I'm healthy, guys. I'm not sure I'm healthy at all. I don't feel in normal health. But thank you. November, I think the stock will not squeeze by the time the November calls expire. That you're asking my opinion. On the other hand, the November calls are cheap as they can be. You know, remember in October, September, August, July, June, we were paying up for our calls. You can have them nearly for free now. So I think it's a worthy gamble, and that's what it would be, buying the November calls. And I would buy the lowest ones you can afford, not the highest ones. The stock closed at what, 5 something? If you can afford to buy the 550s or the 5s or the 6s, that's what I'd buy. You won't buy as many. But it'll give you something to trade. If you bought 10 of the 550s for 75 cents, I have no idea what they're trading for. And the stock went to 650, you could sell those 10, take your original money off, take the rest of the money, and then buy a bunch of cheaper ones, but keep your original money in your pocket. That's how I would do it. I have known information that Univest is going to do jack shit between now and options expiration. On the other hand, I have no information that I have no indication that Univest might not do something tomorrow and announce that they've merged British Telecom and Finger Motion together in a pan world mega giant telecommunications company. I have no idea. And so it could happen tomorrow. But I would take advantage, Dominic, that the premiums aren't there. That's what I would do. I would buy some because they're cheap. I'm not going to go lower because I'm trying to talk to you at the same time as kind of hear what's going on here. Doesn't look good for the Joker. Doesn't look good. So I'm going to not read any more stories till this goes over.
40-30.
Yeah, that's right. It'll change to the CAUD, collective audience ticker. I love you, Lucky. I love you. We'll go in a second. We'll go in a second. All right, we'll go in a second.
Yes.
Neither one of these guys is playing very well. And his leg is hurting him. That's not good sign.
Avantage baseball. Yes.
All right, so we're at an impasse because I don't want to scroll down and find out that Djokovic lost. And I can't, well, maybe I can answer some questions up here. All right, what's here? Your thoughts on MBHS1? I didn't see an S1 for NBH, so you're obviously not asking me. Let me look.
Yes.
No, nothing. I don't see an S1 for next week. What's bothering you? We'll go after this, Lucky. I have no idea what's going on with NextBridge S1. Is it true Finger thinks Ham goes before November 17th? Yeah, I think Ham thinks Finger will go before the 17th. Ham thinks it'll go this week, next week. It is true. Just wait till China declares war on Taiwan. All the market's going to sink to the ground. One, I don't think China's going to declare war on Taiwan. Two, it would depend on the United States response. Three, it would depend on the Straits of Malaya, the huge amount of oil of the world that goes through those straits down there. Forget the name. And it would also be whether or not they destroy the chip factories. But I don't think the markets are going to sink to the ground. I don't think that'll happen. In fact, I think the markets would probably go up if we had war. Yeah, there could be insiders that bought today. That's true, and that would be great. The whole market is going to blow like a panic not seen since. Were you around in the 30s? Within the next 2 years, just watch. Well, you know, I hope you're wrong, but it could happen, I guess. It could happen. I don't think the United States is going to allow her markets to be destroyed unless we go to war first. So what you really need to look out for, Lauren, in my opinion, if you're looking for absolute destruction, is the bond market. If the bond market goes down, you'll be right. That's a good point. If Finger gets their insurance unit producing money, look, Finger's gonna win. It's gonna win. But you know, I don't think repetition makes it any clearer to anyone. Gary Gensler is paid for. He's there to protect Goldman Sachs, not you. And Goldman Sachs prime brokerage makes money from this criminal behavior. Of course, everything on my video is my opinion. GTII, heavy volume out of nowhere, something is up. My understanding is a short is trying to buy stock, as Ham said on the call, directly from major holders. If that short, maybe it's the Swiss who were short 19 million shares, maybe they have to get this cleared up by the end of their year. Who knows? Total speculation.
15:30.
I'm wrong? I'm wrong? How can it be? How could I be wrong? All right, so I got to stop there. What time is it? 5:26. I'll go. Well, I can't see your questions because I'm not going to look.
30.
The ball boy's having a lot of fun in the background, pretending to be a statue and then racing. Come on, Joker. Wow. Pretty impressive. Not only pretty impressive, damn impressive.
40.
Damn impressive from Joker. The Joker is the man. He is the man with the plan. Wow. No, Joker. You're getting ahead of yourself.
40. 10.
She's going to divorce you if you keep playing like this. He's a tired old man. Actually, Greek Spoiler is not playing that great, but he's a good player. Good boy. Good boy. I love you. I love you, boy. I love you. I love you. Very grateful for you. Very grateful.
S'il vous plaît.
S'il vous plaît, breakpoint, Avignon, sous le pont d'Avignon. On y danse sous le pont. All right. Oh, Joker, I can't watch you anymore. I give up. I give up. I can't watch you anymore. I'm going to go back to watching GTII. The crowd's being very hard on him.
S'il vous plaît. Merci, les joueurs sont prêts, merci. Merci.
What's wrong?
Allez, merci, merci. S'il vous plaît.
He's calling for more a rain of booze.
Merci.
So they obviously closed this, but there's no record date. Very weird.
Love 30.
All right, Joker. Yay! The Joker takes on the Paris crowd. They're booing him, and he's ahead. Love 30, love 40.
Love 40.
Because he's the man. He's the man with the plan.
Merci.
He did it. So now he serves to win. Now he serves to win. I don't want to look to see that he lost. What's your question? What is your question? Well, Apple posted good earnings. All right, great. Let's rush to Apple. That's your question? Did they cancel the deal? They didn't cancel the deal. The deal is good. The deal is effective. And it might cause the shorts some trouble. The thing that'll make my negative view less is if they announce these new deals they roll in, but also if these two hedge funds, once they make their pound of flesh, if they return shares. Unfortunately, the ratio clearly was already set at 1-for-12. That was the cost of the friends of Peter Bordes. They moved the ratio from 1.9, one share of CAU for 9.25 to 1-for-12. That's a huge difference. All right, looks good for the Joker. But thank you, No Trust, No Believe. I thought that was a well thought out question. And that you obviously are so busy, you don't have time to read headlines, even much less news stories. So I'm glad to be able to tell you that the headline said they closed the deal. Wow. He might do it. He might pull it off. 3 match points. To love. The Joker goes into a swing and it's long. The Joker. Second serve, curve, slice. He wins. And Djokovic is through. All right, so now I can read your questions. Great Sport's a nice guy. Finger calls garbage, just buy the stock. Everybody's got different opinions. David Hensley, you can buy more stock, so to speak, for calls than you can buying stock. If you right now bought 1,000 shares, David Hensley, of Finger, it's going to cost you $6,000. A lot of people don't have that. So they buy 10 calls for $600. You know, it's just how life is. But I agree with you. I would buy the stock, David. I couldn't agree with you more. I would buy the stock. Do you think today brought back YOLO swag? What's a YOLO? Yell of leasing out. I have no way. No, I have no. I have no idea. That's exactly right, Rosie and David. If you buy the stock, you don't lose it. You're exactly right. And I agree 100% with both of you. No, I haven't gotten the new. See, that's why. That right there is why I stopped answering questions. You would have given away. You would have given away the result. Mullein extract, mullein tea, add oregano. Mullein extract and mullein tea. All right. And oregano. Normal oregano. All right. So I'm going to go walk my dog. I don't see any more questions, but I'm going to try to get a new computer. So I'll wish everyone peace, love, and happiness. We'll see what happens tomorrow with Logic. I agree with Stoney that said I got upset about GTII and the other one. But I do think you have to be aware that as we go into November and December, tax loss selling season comes in, every stock we're in is a piece of shit as far as investment advisors are concerned. And they'll say, let's sell that, let's sell that, let's sell that. So that's what we'll be fighting against. But there could be very good news. There could be very good news in either stock instantaneously, which is the rub of it, isn't it? It's the rub of it. All right. And thoughts and prayers to Jenny L. And best wishes to everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow.